What's up guys, it's Z here, welcome back. The ban list has dropped and today we're taking a look at a new format. Now, the ban list actually did a lot of things, but don't expect to see any new decks in this top 10 list. Maybe the decks that we're used to seeing, but in a different order, because we don't have anything new yet, we don't have anything top tier potential that has come out in the recent sets, and I don't think that anything is going to come out in the near future either. We've seen stuff from Ancient Guardians, we've seen cards from Lightning Overdrive, and I don't think that they have changed much. We've seen stuff from the OCG, they're still playing the same format, but at least we don't have to deal with cards like Calamities or Zexal anymore that were completely stopping you from playing, so at least the format is going to be a lot more fun, even if we have to face the same old stuff. So now we're going to take a look at the top 10 decks of the new format for the March 2021 ban list. So, before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming content, comment down below your own lists if you think some decks deserve to be higher or lower, and now, let's get to the video. Number 10, Madolche. To be honest, I had a really tough time deciding which deck to put at number 10. I thought of some stuff, but ultimately I ended up giving it to Madolche because the deck is good. The deck is good going second with Tiramisu, it can OTK very easily, it's good going first with cards like Goes and Match and the Trap that can search. It also can play Dimension Shifter, which is something that can destroy the format, especially with the number 1 deck that I've put this format, which you're going to see later. So yeah, I think the deck has the tools to be very successful, so if you like this deck, I think it's time for you to shine and see a lot of success with it, because it is a good deck and is a lot more budget than it used to be, because pretty much everything has had a reprint. So yeah, Madolche for number 10. Number 9, Drytron. This deck got the hammer in the list, and it was actually a surprise that Union Carrier got banned as well. I'm pretty sure it's because of Drytron that Union Carrier got banned, mainly because it's a card that could be very unhealthy in the future as well, which is why I think a card like Anaconda is going to follow sometime soon, maybe. But for now, Drytron actually, it wasn't even the best deck in the previous format, and now it definitely, I don't think it's a tier 1 deck. It can do stuff with one Ben 10, but it's very, very tough on keeping up with your opponents, because when you had 3 Ben 10s, you would tribute 1, search 1, and then you would keep searching Ben 10s to tribute for your Drytrons to have free tributes every single time, and then you would search your Vanity's Ruler. But now I'm pretty sure that in order to use Ben 10 again, they would have to go out of their way to ritual summon her from the grave so you can tribute her again, which is using 1 ritual summon for that. So yeah, I think Drytron, while still viable, is going to have a much harder time keeping up with the better decks. Number 8, Emancipator Prankids. This deck actually is on the thrive. This deck is really cool, I really like the concept of it. It's very, very good. It solved a lot of problems that Emancipator had when Block Dragon got banned, because what the deck lacked is more monsters on the field in order to go into stuff like Appaloosa or Masquerena. And without Block Dragon, it didn't have the way to get those monsters on the field and keep up with card advantage. But with just the Prankids engine, with just 1 Roxy's, you can get so many monsters on the field with Doodle and Meow Meow, which is absolutely absurd. The deck has really good potential, and if you like the Emancipators, just throw in the Prankids engine. You don't even have to commit anything, just buy 1 Doodle and you don't even need places or stuff, so it's not like it's expensive, even though the Prankids don't have a reprint yet. So yeah, a really good deck, and I think it's going to be a lot of successful. Number 7, Littlest Tri-Brigade. So before I made this video, the day I was making it, we got new Little Ask support announced. We don't know what they'll do yet, but they will be helpful. At least 1 card will be. Come on, there's no way all of those cards are useless. So this deck can only get better with new support, but it's already really good because the Tri-Brigade engine is a very strong engine that gives you a lot of free stuff from the extra deck, and the Little Ask give you a lot of free stuff from the main deck because you can dump them with Fractal and then bring them back with Turquoise Warbler. You get more monsters on the field. The rank 1 engine is really good because of stuff like the rank 1 that searches you pretty much any level 1 winged beast, so you can search Diddy Crow if you want to search defense, you can search your Nerval, you can search a lot of stuff. So yeah, Little Tri-Brigade I think is the Tri-Brigade deck to look out for. We've seen other stuff, we've seen Harpies, we've seen Zodiac, but I think Little Ask is the one that takes the cake when it comes to putting in the Tri-Brigade engine. So this is the final deck of the tier 2. I usually put like the 3 or 4 decks at tier 2, and then the 6 first decks are usually tier 1 in pretty much this list. So yeah, Little Ask Tri-Brigade is the last one for the tier 2. Now let's go to the tier 1. We start off with number 6, and this is Virtual World. Oh boy, all those who think that Virtual World is dead because Calamities got banned, they will have a Rude Awakening very, very soon. The deck is still insane. Pretty much every main deck monster acts as an extender. It can hand loop, which is something that people haven't really been using because Calamities was such an easy way to win the game, but now they have to make extra steps to make the deck unfair, but it's still a very, very powerful deck. You will see it a lot lot, you will actually get mad at it a lot again, even though it doesn't have calamities. The deck still has access to really powerful extra deck monsters like Dragon. So yep, you're going to see the deck, and I think it's still tier 1 and will probably might actually need some more hits in the future, depending on how the format unfolds, but in my opinion, I think the deck is still going to thrive. Number 5, Subter. Nobody saw this coming when it won the Invitational, but Subter actually is a really good deck because it can main deck stuff like Summon Limit without even caring. Dragoon did not get hit, so the deck can still run the package of 3 Red Eyes Fusion and 3 Red Eyes Insight, so it has a powerhouse that can win games. It has a Subterror engine which can stall their opponent for much longer. Floodgates are really good, especially the weaker decks become and the slower the format tries to become, Floodgates become more powerful, because when you're trying to stop something that's completely broken, Floodgates are not going to do much, but when you're trying to stop something that has been hit from ban list, like a Virtual War without calamities, then maybe Floodgates can be enough. Summon Limit was enough to beat Virtual War before, so it's going to be even more broken now. And yep, Subterror doesn't care a lot about a lot of stuff, so some hand traps like Diddy Crow and Skullmeister that are being played that are still going to be played in the format don't do anything against this deck, really. So yep, Subter, if you want to play something more controlly and you can afford Eldritch, then I think Subter is the deck to go for you. Number 4, Dinosaur. Misk, I think, is here to stay at 3, to be honest, because yep, doesn't seem Konami seems interested to banning, or not banning, but limiting this card again. So yep, as long as Misk is a 3, Dinosaurs are going to be a really good deck. And Dinosaurs are always a deck that find a way to adapt to formats. Maybe when we're playing a more combo heavy format, they try to go second to make more break my board answers when they have Tyrannos and stuff, or maybe when we're playing a more of a control format, they try to go first and make their own board, so they can adapt. They have tools to do anything. So yep, especially in this format where I think we're going to have a very similar format to not the previous format, but actually a couple formats before, because you will see once I get to the number 1 deck. Yep, I think Dinosaurs are a good deck in order to be able to break the board of the tier 1 deck, the best deck of the format. So yep, we're going to see Dinosaurs again. Number 3, Invoke Dogmatica. This deck has been around for much too long, and I don't think it's worth hitting yet, but sometime Nadir will have its time and it will time to go for 1. It's not that time yet, but still this deck is really good. It can do a lot of stuff with Dogmaticas. The Shadow engine is insane, especially when we're getting against combo decks, because just 1 Winda, if you protect with a punishment, can be enough to win you the entire game. Alistair, Recursive Engine, giving you more stuff. Dogmatica's free stuff as well. Yep, really good deck. We're going to see it a lot more in this format, I think, than we used to before, because before we saw it a little, but I think a lot of other decks were just much more powerful. But in this format, we're going to see it a lot more, so be careful for that and have answers for Winda in your deck. If you lose to Winda, you're gonna need them. Number 2, Zodiac Eldritch. Eldritch did not get hit. That was actually a surprise to me, but yeah, it seems Konami doesn't think it's worth hitting yet, so yeah, it's going to be a really good deck this format. It was a really good deck last format, but now it's even more broken because it has pretty much anything, didn't lose anything. So yeah, it's not number 1 because the deck still has issues, and this is why I think it could avoid lists like that, because it's not something uber broken like we've seen with other decks, but it's still a very solid deck, because the Eldritch engine gives you a recursive engine that can keep up the game pretty much forever, and the Zodiacs give you stuff with Zeus that can break boards, which is something Eldritch lacks, because the only disruption Eldritch has when actually, not disruption, but trying to clear the board is Eldritch's hand effect, but with Zeus you can destroy your opponent's board. Trident is another disruption that can work. I think people should start playing Whiptail now, because of stuff like Dogmatica Invoked and Winda. They're going to need it, trust me, if you want to play this deck. So yeah, we're going to see it a lot. We're going to see other Eldritch variants as well. We're going to see with Eldritch maybe Dogmatica. We've seen some Evil Twin Eldritch stuff, but just for the putting in the list the best possible Eldritch version, if you're playing Eldritch, I think you should splash you in. It's just the best stuff. No doubt, absolutely the best. Number 1, Dragonlink. Now, to be honest, this is the last format we're going to see LP. I hope so, at least. Because every time that there's a list that they hit something that was stronger than Dragonlink, like now we hit Virtual World. It was the best deck, now it's debatable, but yeah, whatever. Calamities is bad. Dragonlink always is the deck that is waiting in the corner to become the tier 1 deck once everything else gets hit, because Konami just does not pay attention to it. LP did not get banned again. The deck was not the best deck in the last format, and this is why this deck actually managed to survive, because it went under the radar again, and now it's going to be the best deck again. The deck is absolutely insane. It can do so much stuff. People have started splashing Chamber Dragon Maid in the deck so they can get access to the trap card, which is a compulsory for dragons. So it has a double bounce with Heavenly Spheres and the trap. It can make stuff like Savage, it can make stuff like Croco Dragon. The deck can do so much. It can play the Rockets, it can play Levianir. Yeah, why is this deck still a thing? It's been such a long time that we've seen this happen again and again and again. The Dragonlink is always there to creep up and become the best deck the moment a ban list drops. And I might be wrong, yes, but I think that this is going to be the most represented deck this format, because people just know what they're doing with it, they know how to adapt with it. Stuff like Invoke Dogmatica, yes, it's a very standard build, but people are still experimenting here and there. But I think Dragonlink, they've already found a way to deal with anything because they have adapted from previous formats. They know how to play against combo, they know how to play against control. It's just a deck that we've known for such a long time that people are familiar with it to the point that they're ready whenever they don't have anything better to play, that they're going to pick up the deck again and they're going to make it absolutely insane. And I think this is the last format we're going to see LP. Hopefully, if LP doesn't get banned in the next format unless a new deck is released, then there's no way that Dragonlink is going to become less powerful. It's only going to become more powerful because the next ban list is going to hit something. So if it's not Dragonlink, then it has to be something else. So Dragonlink will become even more tier 0-ish than it will be now. It won't be tier 0, come on, but yeah, it's going to be broken. So yep, if you like dragons, if you want to play the deck, I think this is your last chance to do so. So don't think that you will have more chances afterwards. If you want to play the deck, pick it up now. If you have the deck and want to play it now. It's going to be the last time you play it, probably. July 1st is a ticking time bomb for LP's death. So yep, this is probably the last format we're going to see this deck as the best deck. But even if LP gets banned, it's going to be a good deck. It just won't be the best deck. So yeah, don't be disheartened about that. You're still going to be able to play it afterwards. It just won't be as dominant as will be now. So yep, that's the list, guys. To be honest, I think the game is heading to a fine direction. We've dealing with problems. We've pretty much gone through a lot. The combo formats, like the ones that we have with Emancipators, has taught us a lot. And while this may be a combo format, if Dragonlink is actually the best deck, it's not going to be nearly as irritating to play against as other stuff, because Calamities, yes, it's a card that stops you from playing completely, but it's just one card, so it doesn't have to go through a lot of steps in order to make it, and it could make it through a lot of hand traps. But Dragonlink has to go a lot of steps in order to make a board, and this board can actually be cracked by stuff like Dark Ruler No More or Droplet. Droplet could crack Calamities, but Dark Ruler No More could not. So there are answers for everything right now, and this is why I think we're heading into a new format that is going to be fun to play, not as boring as the previous one, because I know that a lot of people found the previous format very stale and boring, and I think people are going to enjoy the game a lot more now. And when we get a new deck that actually can compete with these decks, the format is going to become even more interesting. So yep, that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming content, comment down below your own lists or your thoughts about the upcoming format, and we'll see you next time.